Hello, everyone. This is a technical analysis on dollar yen from scratch. That's the first time I'm actually using live streaming on Zoom. And it's actually simultaneously shown on my YouTube channel. So hopefully that it works fine and that the video quality and sound quality are sufficient. So we're gonna do live technical analysis on dollar yen from scratch. So sometimes I prefer to do it from time to time because when you have charts and you have a lot of lines, you actually get used to those lines and you don't notice new levels or new trading opportunities. So sometimes it can be very useful to just simply remove all the lines that you had. So just show you how it actually looked before I started. Well, actually, this is, yeah, I'm missing just a triangle right here. But my technical analysis looked on the dollar yen something like that. So sometimes I just prefer to remove all the lines and open a new chart and basically start it from the scratch. And usually I like to go from a higher time frame to a lower time frame. I'm going to start with weekly charts. Here, when we notice, we can probably see a few areas. I will first of all zoom it out. So I really believe more in horizontal support and technical support and resistance levels. I think they are more important for the market and especially psychological levels. I think the trend lines can be drawn very differently. Different market participants, traders see them very differently. And also it depends on what type of chart you're using. If it's a candlestick chart or if it's a Kagi chart, Renko chart, everything will look differently. But if you use horizontal levels, they will be more or less the same on all charts. So the trend lines are very subjective, but horizontal levels are more objective. In my opinion, they're much stronger. So the first thing that I do is usually I divide the chart into several areas. So I try to understand which area is a bullish area, neutral area, and bearish area. So in my opinion, when I look at this chart, I can sort of divide this area, which is a bullish area above 115. Maybe it can be like, let's say, adjusted or defined more clearly on other time frames. But on the weekly time frame, I see it like this. So, and then I see another level. Maybe it's like around 102 or 100. So this is more like a neutral area, in my opinion. And here is actually very bearish area for this currency pair. So then further, when we can actually start to look for some trend lines and try to describe the movements that we see. So in my opinion, there is a certain like a channel that we can notice in this area. So in my opinion, somehow it can be also defined very differently. So once again, the trend lines can be very subjective, but I would rather say that there is a certain way, like a formation like this one. Yeah, and there are also multiple ways how you can see it or how you can draw it. But in my opinion, we can like see some clear tendency within this area. So there was like a consolidation area for really long time, for a few years. And right now we broke this consolidation area. And sort of, if you look at the previous chart from 2012, this was like a certain consolidation. And now we made a breakout and we have a potential to move much higher. This is what we see from the weekly time frame. So here we're also in the consolidation phase. We're gradually moving much higher. And the picture looks like, yeah, we can move even higher. So now here we can also see some other technical levels. First of all, let me just increase the width of these lines that I found on the higher level, because these levels are going to be very important. So in addition to this, now we can just zoom in and look at some daily levels. We clearly see the level right here. I'm gonna just make it like this. Probably it would be much better. So, and this is so pretty strong resistance level located at 112.14, probably slightly higher, because here we have multiple highs, actually from February 2019 and later from January 2020. So it's located around 112 and 20. So we already approached this level and there was a strong correction from these levels. So this is not surprising. And also, I think basically from the weekly time frame, there is nothing less that I really clearly see. There's probably some lines, some charts, triangles that we can draw here, but it would be better to switch to the daily time frame, and then we can draw more precise levels. So from the weekly time frame, that's it. I think the potential trend is in the upward direction. From what we have seen from the global picture, this all looks like a correction, and there is a potential for the higher upward movement. So now let's move to the daily time frame, and this time I'm going to choose another chart. I'm going to open another chart. I'm going to switch to the daily time frame, and here we're going to continue drawing. So here's a weekly, and next to it we're going to have a daily chart. So here what we can notice, we had a really narrow area where the consolidation was for about 1 month. Then we had a false breakout, and finally we have a strong impulse. So we can actually draw, there was a triangle on the daily level. It was approximately like this. And once again, this can be drawn very differently, because here we had multiple attempts to break this triangle. So I think we can draw it like this. It's also quite subjective. There were many false breakouts right here and here below multiple times. So it would probably, this version would be more precise. So I like this one much better. So we can also draw horizontal levels. Once again, I really like them. And I usually use the highs and lows. So here's definitely one level, and here we can see multiple times we touched the following level. Just 1 second, I'm trying to adjust. So 140, another level can be found right here. It's more like there's also like a high from the level 111. So, and also 110.80. So there's like about one area where there are multiple support lines. So, and finally, I think I had also one level from the weekly time frame. I'm going to draw it once again, and I'm going to make it more visible. So I will increase the width to 2. So let's switch back to the daily time frame. Okay, here I think we see much better picture. So here we had this consolidation within also a very narrow area within the triangle. We had a strong breakout. We had a correction, and once again, it's not surprising to see this deep correction because of this important level. And here we continue to move much higher. So in my opinion, there's a really nice upward potential on this currency pair, especially if things will start to improve in the economy. I think currently there is a lot of negative news already priced into the markets, especially things related to the pandemic, supply chain constraints, energy crisis. There are already a lot of fears in the markets. So once those fears will fade away, and also once the global yields start to accelerate, I think we see this partially on some markets. Let's check the yields. I have yields for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and they are all growing today. Also, like yields on European government bonds, they're all increasing today. So the most important is, of course, the yields on the US dollar. And so returning back to the daily chart, I would say that the yields are growing. So they have inverse correlation with the Japanese yen. And the dollar has a potential to move higher in case if the NFP data on Friday will be positive. I think that's going to be the key event for this week. And it can reassure the markets. Once again, it can return confidence back to the markets in case if there's going to be a positive surprise. And I think that the expected values are really low. So there's some room for surprise, in my opinion. So potentially we can see some further upward movement on this currency pair. So let me draw it with zoom tools. So in my opinion, so I'll give my forecast for the next 5 days. So in my opinion, we may move something like this. So in case if we will have a surprise, a really strong report, we can actually even break 112.25. So I'm going to draw it with green line so that it's more visible and more noticeable. So that would be the potential movement. So in my opinion, if we approach this level once again, there's a potential breakout. In case if there's going to be disappointment in the NFP data, probably we will not break this level from the first attempt. There can be further correction, like maybe the NFP is not going to be strong. So in my opinion, there can be some movement like this one. We may test, we may fail. And then later we have a chance to break this level once again. Anyway, the technical picture and what we see is actually very, very positive for this currency pair. And in my opinion, long positions are recommended in general. We saw a really strong impulse, really strong trend. So in my opinion, long positions are recommended. The question is always about the timing. And if you're looking for the best trading opportunity, you need to switch to 4 hours, 1 hour chart, and then look for the best trading opportunity on a much smaller time frame. So that's it for the analysis. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully the quality will be sufficient. In the future, I will try to make more frequent live updates. Thank you very much for watching, and I wish you a nice day.